This is the Book of Syntha, given by Atheon the alchemist. Atheon studied arclight and Syntha for many years, speaking of his studies in great detail. He also studied the soul of man in great depth. Here I will record his studies and teachings. Atheon was born to Eldrith and Avira. When he was still young, at the age of 29, he set out to live in another country, and to be set apart from his family. Atheon aspired to be like Celtics, so he settled in the land of Ultyra. There he bought his own home, and he lived within the walls of the kingdom. As Atheon grew in his wisdom, he learned things concerning the soul and the creation, and he began to write about them. Atheon was soon granted access inside the palace, and he would go to the library every evening to study. King Thaxa would also accompany him in his studies and would himself learn from Atheon. This caused Atheon to be a respected scientist and philosopher. He also compiled and wrote the accounts of the Primitus Age, which were passed down from Libus and Celtics. On certain days Atheon would stand in the city squares and teach the people walking by. He would also travel to nearby towns and villages to share his teachings. His teachings were recorded by certain spectators and scribes, and are now passed down to me. And I, Spectrus, have compiled his studies into this book. Before Empiria was created, only Arcane existed. Alongside Arcane was his servant, Eula. As one, they lived in the ether eternity past, and were self-existent. When Arcane created Empiria, he left traces of his power in the creation. The energy which came from Arcane through the creation is known to us as etherlight, because it first came from the ether, which is the eternity that exists on its own outside the creation. Etherlight comes from Arcane and manifests itself in two forms. The first form of etherlight is Sentia, which is the light that comes from Arcane's very essence. Toniel himself was formed from Arcane's light. Therefore, Toniel is the only being within the creation with the power of Sentia. And because Toniel was taken from Arcane's light, he has the same mind and spirit as Arcane. The second form of etherlight is Oblivion, which is perfect darkness, and was created by Arcane before time. Oblivion is pure darkness, and can therefore never be overcome by any form of light. When light comes into the presence of Oblivion, it is obliterated from existence, not even absorbed or reflected. Since Oblivion is pure darkness, Sentia therefore is perfect light. No darkness can encounter Sentia, and Sentia cannot be eclipsed by any dark thing, nor can it cast any shadow. When Arcane created Kyphon, he created him from Oblivion. Kyphon therefore is the ruler of Oblivion. Kyphon rests in nowhere, and he is one with the darkness of Oblivion. Therefore, Kyphon is the only being in creation with the power of Oblivion, just as Toniel is the only being in creation with the power of Sentia. Sentia cannot overpower Oblivion, and Oblivion cannot overcome Sentia, thus one cannot defeat the other. This is what is true, for Toniel himself has revealed it unto Atheon, so that when he spoke of these things, he knew the truth of the matter. When Arcane created the world, etherlight entered the creation, which was once part of him. And the etherlight which entered the world entered by Toniel and Kyphon. Then Arcane left the world, and left behind the element of creation, which is called Gaia. Gaia is one of the forms of Syntha of which Atheon spoke the most. Now I will explain Syntha, which comes from etherlight. Etherlight manifests itself as Sentia and Oblivion. From Sentia and Oblivion come four foundational elements, which are called Syntha. Two of the four types of Syntha come from Sentia, while the other two come from Oblivion. The first Syntha which comes from Sentia is Gaia. Gaia is the element of creation, and it is found in the earth, the seas, the air, and all the kinds of living creatures. Everything in the natural realm was created from Gaia by Arcane. The Esper Maya was created by pure Gaia. Therefore, the four elementals are one in the same entity as Maya, split into four beings, just as the angels were all born from Angelus. The second Syntha which comes from Sentia is the light. The light is the manifestation of Sentia which can interact with man and the natural world. The light manifests itself in the souls of men and women, and it resides in their hearts. When a person follows the light, it gives life to them, and it becomes conjoined with their souls. The third Syntha which comes from Oblivion is called Chaos. When Arcane created Chaos the Esper, he formed him from this element of Syntha. Chaos is the element of distortion and serves as the foil element to Gaia. The fourth Syntha which comes from Oblivion is the darkness. The darkness is the manifestation of oblivion which can interact with man and the natural world. The darkness, like the light, can affect the heart. However, the darkness takes life rather than gives it. The darkness is the essence of all that is evil and dark and should therefore be avoided at all costs. Tenebris, the esper of fear, is made fully of the darkness. And when Tenebris entered the world, he brought the darkness with him, thus death and corruption came to the world. Here are the things which Atheon taught concerning the soul of man. The soul is the seat of personhood, and it contains your thoughts, personality, will, and your emotions. The heart, being in the core of the soul, serves as the house of thoughts and emotions. The part of the soul surrounding the heart is an empty shell, which contains arc-light if you are born as an aeon. That is why only those born as an aeon can use arc-light, while others who are born without arc-light in their soul cannot use it. From Syntha comes forth more elements of energy. These elements are called arc-light, and they each have their own unique attributes and qualities. These are the elements of arc-light which come from the 4 types of Syntha: blaze, flood, tundra, blood surge, quake, plasma, myst, ellipsis, Ryaki, umbra, atlas, Tesla, Scion, and Krona. Each element of arc-light comes from one of the 4 types of Syntha. Blaze, flood, tundra, quake, plasma, and myst come from Gaia. Blood surge comes from cows. Ryaki is the manifestation of the light in the form of arc-light. Likewise, umbra is the manifestation of the darkness in the form of arc-light. Atlas, Tesla, and Scion are special forms of arc-light, which don't come from any of the 4 types of Syntha, and their origins are unknown. Krona is the element of time, and there has never been an aeon recorded in history with Krona in their soul. Another thing Atheon taught was the influence of the light and the darkness on one's soul. Those who follow the light have it in their soul, and the light alters their heart. Those who follow the darkness have it in their soul also, and the darkness brings ruin to their heart. The darkness corrupts the heart, but the light brings life and goodness to it. Atheon also spoke of the anatomy of the soul and the spirit, and what happens when the soul is caused to be separated from the body. All human beings are souls residing in the body given them at their birth. Only Arcane can forge a soul for a body. Therefore, when a man and a woman are joined in the flesh, their souls are entwined just the same. The joining of soul and flesh and blood form a new soul and body. Now Atheon also spoke of the law of Toniel, which shows one how they can know whether they are following the light. Atheon not only taught this law, but also wrote it down, giving it to King Thaxa. The law was commissioned to be set up in the palace library. Here is the law of Toniel. In the beginning, Arcane created all things, even the 4 precursors. But he formed Toniel from a speck of his own light. Therefore Toniel, once the Creator left his creation, was given authority over the creation from on high in Amnia, having the same nature as the Creator, and being made of the same essence. Therefore, since Toniel is the ruler of Amnia, and since he has the same mind and spirit as Arcane, let what he has said concerning what things pertain to the light and what things do not be read and understood. If any man will seek to follow the light, he must seek also the one who is the source of it, being Toniel. In the light there is no evil, just as in the darkness there is no goodness. And if anyone will seek after Toniel, let him heed his ideals, as the highest precursor. Hear now the words of Toniel himself. No one can have the light in their soul unless their character is pure. If one's character is pure, though they may fail in doing good, the light does not leave them. For the soul may be the origin of action, yet actions are not always the result of one's character. Yet take heed that no one allows their wrong actions to become their character, otherwise the darkness has an opening into such a one's soul. Not only does the darkness enter the soul in this way, but it also comes from within the heart itself. The heart is a mystery to all living beings, a true complexity beyond comparison. From the same heart the light may shine forth, and from the same heart the darkness may manifest itself. The way of purity is the way of the light. The one who defiles their body with sexual impurity shall receive the darkness in them. One keeps their body undefiled in marriage, the bonding of a man and a woman. But if a man and woman are not bound together in marriage, then such action is evil, and the darkness enters them because of this. The way of peace is the way of the light. The one who hates another has let the darkness come up from their own heart. For when the darkness entered the world, the hearts of man were touched by it. Because of this all mankind is now susceptible to the darkness, for now it arises from within their own hearts. As long as there is no balance, and the darkness prevails in the world, so too will the evil desires of mankind prevail. How can one keep their heart from producing the darkness? Flee from hatred, and let bitterness elude you. Be in fellowship with others, so that fear does not overtake you. The heart that is in isolation is drawn away to pride, anger, fear, loneliness, sorrow, and suffering. A heart that is in such a state long enough will be weakened, allowing the darkness to manifest itself from within. The darkness enters the heart of a person when that person partakes in certain behaviors which affect him from the outside. The one who defiles their body with another will receive the darkness from such behavior. The one who murders with hatred will receive the darkness from without, as well as from their own hatred within. If anyone would ask, who judges these things to be worthy of the darkness, here is the answer: Arcane himself is perfect. Therefore, his creation, if it deviates from his character, shall not receive anything good. For we precursors were given authority over the creation, to judge what shall be done in it. I and the Creator share one mind and one spirit, therefore my judgments are in one accord with Arcane's. What Arcane desires, I desire. If anything a precursor does is not aligned with that which Arcane himself would desire, then that precursor has failed his purpose, and he shall answer unto me. When Athian taught things concerning the soul, spirit, and body, he would also speak mysterious things concerning the spirit world. The spirit world, otherwise known as Faspira, is the realm where spiritual beings and creatures dwell. Faspira is, in a sense, adjacent to the natural realm in which we see, hear, smell, and taste. The fairies were given by Toniel the ability to peer into and wander into Faspira, just as the Vienna can hear it. Not only does Faspira encompass all of the natural worlds, but also Amnia and Heilvan as well. Amnia and Heilvan are a mysterious mixture of both physical and spiritual matter. Athian spoke of the different types of spiritual beings and creatures which inhabit Faspira. Angelus, the Esper of light and justice, is the father of the angels. All the myriads of angels which inhabit Amnia and go to and fro across the spirit realm were born from Angelus. Angels are made of spiritual light. There are male and female angels, yet they do not reproduce, being mere spirits. While they are spirits, they can also manifest themselves in human form. The angels are not meant to do this regularly, but only when granted special permission by Toniel. Angels do not have ranks, but they answer to Angelus, as he is the chief of the angels. The angels resemble each other in appearance. Angels serve Toniel and aid those who would follow the light. While angels are born of Angelus, demons are born of Chaos, the Esper of wrath. Demons are made of spiritual darkness, and their spiritual bodies are infused with the very fires of Heilvan. Some demons may be male or female, while others may not. Demons also have the ability to manifest in human form. However, since demons are twisted creatures, their incarnations never have a concrete figure or appearance. Unlike the angels, the demons have lower and higher ranks among them. And unlike the angels, demons vary greatly in shape and appearance. The demons live to persuade hearts toward the darkness, and they would use a man's own emotions against him. Aside from angels and demons, who mostly occupy Amnia and Heilvan, and who seldom roam about Faspira, there are many other spirits. There are spirits called EUs, which are not sentient beings like angels and demons, but are rather akin to the animals of the physical realm. An EU is much like a wild coyote or wingless drake in appearance, yet made entirely of fiery red and orange energy. Nightmares are another type of non-sentient spirit. A nightmare is much like an EU in appearance, but instead made of black and blue energy. Nightmares have the ability to enter the dreams of those sleeping in the physical realm, and this is what keeps them alive. Nightmares feast on the fears of many. The last type of spirit that Athian would speak of are called Vorsin. Vorsin, Athian would say, are the most mysterious spirits of them all. Not even Athian knew much concerning them, other than the occasional sightings of them slipping in and out of the physical and spiritual realms. Now concerning the matters of the body, soul, and spirit, Athian would often say, the body without the soul sleeps in the grave. The soul without the body lives in the spirit. However, the soul without both is lost. For when a soul has either the light or the darkness, it shall generate a spirit body for itself upon separation from the flesh. However, if the soul has neither the light nor the darkness, thus having no Syntha energy to animate the spirit, then that soul is left to wander by itself. A lost soul may roam the spirit plane of Faspira temporarily, before they are seized by Rakia's hand. These lost souls rest in Animorba, the soul world, and are watched over by Rakias. The soul that is in the darkness and absent from the body forms an impure spirit, and is thus under judgment. These souls are brought to Heilvan, where they are in torment forever in their spiritual bodies. The soul that is in the light and absent from the body forms a pure spirit, and is thus under favor. These souls are brought to Amnia, where they live forever in their spiritual bodies. Those who die and inhabit Amnia as spirits are known as Sentients. Toniel himself rules over all the Sentients from the throne in his palace, which is the Sanctuarium. As Toniel is the king of Amnia, Argasax is the ruler of Heilvan, who watches over the demons, the evil spirits, and all the souls of those who have died in the darkness. These things Athian taught to all people on Arden. Now he has been in Amnia for 17 years, and I have written these things to pass on his wisdom to all generations. Follow the light, that your soul may live forever in purity in Amnia, and that you may not experience the wrath of Heilvan, nor the isolation of the soul world. All these things I have learned from Athian, and now I end this account.